Should drug possession be considered a crime? Not according to the Philadelphia District Attorney.
One of the things we're looking at is essentially diverting all possession of drugs cases. Possession is different than dealing. It's different than carrying a bunch of drugs that you intend to sell or deliver later. It's just possession. It seems to me to make a lot more sense to hold them accountable in ways that do not require a conviction. We are very close.
If finalized, the plan would mean anyone arrested or charged for having a small amount of drugs would not be jailed or have a record. Instead, they might go to treatment or to do community service. Would this be the right approach, or is it a free pass on possession, too easy on crime? Here to debate it, Michael Barnes, chairman of the Center for U.S. Policy. He also served as a counsel in the White House Office of National Drug Policy under George W. Bush. And Luke Neferotis, his senior advisor for smart approaches to marijuana. Luke, start with you. Do you like this approach?
You know, I have a lot of concerns with this approach. Obviously we don't want to give people records, but on the same token, having these policies that make drug use seem like it's no big deal is sending the wrong message to our country and to our generation. Right now, I'm from Colorado. We just legalized mushrooms yesterday in the city of Denver. These policies that say, this is more of a medical problem, not really a criminal problem, they're missing the point because it's not either or. We can do both. There are drug courts. We have ways to address treatment and drug issues medically while also discouraging use and having our criminal laws. So I have a lot of concerns about this policy because I think it sends the wrong message to our youth and also the wrong message to our country.
Michael, he's got some reasonable objections.
Yes, but what he's talking about is distinct from what they're talking about in Philadelphia. This is not decriminalization. This program would be pre-arrest diversion for people who are nonviolent and who have mental health or substance use disorders, and they save lives. These programs have actually been endorsed by the International Association of Chiefs of Police. The Trump administration is trying to expand pre-arrest diversion programs and is actually giving grant money. So what this means is that cops on the street who actually know mental illness and substance abuse better than anybody else, they have the discretion based on their experience to divert somebody to treatment. The crime remains the same. The penalty could remain the same if it were somebody who has also committed some other violent crime or is not in need of treatment. So this is a type of program that actually will save lives, reduce costs, reduce drug use, as well as reduce crime, keep people out of jail, and keep families together.
In a way, Luke, what he's saying is pre-arrest is instead of arresting, that's considered a pre-arrest.
Yeah, I think that obviously we should have programs. Nobody should just go straight to jail on their first offense, certainly, and we should focus on ways of educating people. But I think the concern on the other side of this is that if we don't have some sort of stick in place, people are going to think that drug use is no big deal, and that's what's happening.
Brian, this is similar to drug courts, which Luke has already endorsed, and that gives the judge the discretion to say you can either go to treatment or we'll put you in jail. You've got to adhere to what the rules are. This is a similar program, except the prosecutors and the police officers are the ones who are saying, we think in our discretion and our experience that this person is better off getting mental health or substance use treatment, but we still reserve the right to file charges and send the person to the criminal justice system.
But sending a message, though, that this is just a medical problem is not the right way to go. We have to let the public know that this is something that should not be encouraged. It should be discouraged, and our youth certainly should not think.
We agree on demand reduction.
Yeah.
We agree on prevention. Absolutely.
Yeah, and here's the thing. What you're trying to say is we can't quantify how many people don't do drugs because they fear of a penalty. Because we don't know, because it's inside everyone's motivation. I think everyone's got the same goal.
At this time, when people are actually using drugs and overdosing and dying because the drugs are tainted with fentanyl, there is a reason now not to use drugs that pretty much anyone who would be interested in partaking in the black market is aware of. So the penalties at this point in the midst of the opioid crisis are severe.
I think the three of us know that, but I don't know how many 16, 17, and 18-year-olds fully have digested that, even though it seems personally reasonable to say one time could be the death of you. You've lost classmates. Yep. The other thing to keep in mind, too, for another time, is a lot of people don't have the insurance to go to rehab for anything more than 10 to 15 days. And if the government can put you in for 30 in a top-notch place, that might be the difference. But thanks so much. We'll have to debate that again because that gets into health insurance.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Very reasonable debate. We all have the same objective. Meanwhile, coming up